Hi, you're on the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. We're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Love for you to join us live. Got a chat room, got some other stuff going on, but if you can't, this is a good format for you as well, these videos. Are you paying any attention to the news, the special prosecutor, some of the people that have been swept up in this net, some of the things that they're saying about our current president and his children, or about people close to him, and all the rest of it? You get tired of it, don't you? Well, it's now being reported that President Trump is considering plans to build a worldwide network of private spies. Yeah, I know it. Private spies to counter deep state enemies in the intelligence community that he says are working to undermine his presidency. Now, deep state is a term to describe the people who are really running the country. They work in the background. They never admit their presence. When something that simply makes no sense happens, it's probably the deep state at work, either moving something or someone, disrupting something or someone for their own purposes. Well, that's the theory. And here's our new president. This is a president like we've never seen. He is energy in motion. According to insiders, he is demanding and is generally thinking way ahead of those working on any issue. Much of what he's doing will not be public information until after we're long gone. But one publication called simply The Intercept is pulling the curtain back for the world to see. See what? To see how this president plans to combat what is called the deep state. The deep state are those career government operatives, most of whom are protected by civil service policy. We've seen some of it played out in the media. The firing of the Attorney General. He then responding with what the media says is an organization to combat the changes Trump is making. The whole Hillary affair, no one has ever enjoyed more protection from prosecution and jail time than she. Every week we hear more and more about how corrupt she has been, how her campaign deliberately ignored and or defied the law. And now it appears government leaders can't even trust the CIA. In almost any other decade or generation, none of this would have been anything we would take seriously. But then this is not like any other decade or generation. We have an entire leadership and labor generation that has grown up without God, meaning they have no real objective moral standards. They'll say or do whatever it takes. Without a good education, in most cases they don't even care about government issues or how the country works or know anything about to start with. Without parents, meaning they had no structure, no training when they were being raised. And without the ability to be discerning. This is a perfect definition of sheep. Just tell them what you want them to know. Point them in the direction you want them to go, and they'll do it. National Democrats bank on all of this. They did in the last election, and they still do. Their leadership is currently in denial, and much of it is in confusion. Noted black leaders, men and women involved in racial struggles of the 1950s and 60s, who boycotted the opening of a memorial to that struggle in Mississippi just this week. Why? Because President Trump was invited to speak. They're not going. Now that's a serious hatred. That's literally cutting off your nose to spite your face. One black member of Congress, Maxine Waters, even joked recently, publicly, about killing the present president. And she did that at an event featuring, apparently, a tribute to Muhammad Ali. We used to call him Cassius Clay, saying, "I'll take him out tonight." She was motivated by all she heard of Muhammad Ali and how strong and gritty. She was, "I'm inspired," she says. "I'll take him out tonight." She made the promise to a group which benefits homeless LGBTQ young people, saying, "I'm sitting here listening, watching, absorbing, thinking about Ali, even though I never met him. And with this kind of inspiration, I will go and take out Trump tonight." You can imagine the grief she got for that from both sides. But her supporters claim she was referring to impeachment or something like it. But Ali was never known for impeaching people. His stock in trade was knocking them out. Then there's the legal battles being played out in the media. Daniel Greenfield, and Shillman journalism fellow at the Freedom Center, is an investigative journalist and writer focusing on the radical left and on Islamic terrorism, and he lists what FBI Director Comey knew and then did. He says he knew Cheryl Mills knew about and contributed to crimes. He knew about documents that showed Mills knew about the Clinton server. He then granted her immunity in exchange for the computer. He did not prosecute her for lying to the FBI. He falsely claimed Mills was entitled to claim attorney-client privilege. Hillary would have been considered her client. She wasn't. But this same prosecutor has refused to give Paul Manafort attorney-client privilege with his actual attorney. You get it? The FBI agreed to destroy Hillary's computers after they investigated. The FBI accepted that Hillary did not know what the letter C meant on emails, meaning classified. Even though Hillary had told her interviewers she hadn't received training on handling classified information, she did sign a document testifying that she had. Hillary claimed that she hadn't carried a second phone, but an aide by the name of Justin Cooper, who made the server possible, testified that she did. Peter Strzok, FBI DOJ's David Loffman, interviewed Clinton with no recordings made of that interview. Not only did Clinton's people lie to the FBI, but the head of the FBI had lied for them. In conclusion, the FBI director said there's always conflicting recollections of facts. Team Mueller, the special prosecutor going after Trump, has filled his office, his committee, whatever they're calling it, with Clinton donors, lawyers, and associates. Mueller himself is a Clinton donor, one of which, his team members, has represented the Clinton Foundation. Another team member represented the Clinton advisor who helped run Hillary's server. He claimed to have destroyed some of Hillary's devices. The point of all of this is, it's the reason we call all this the swamp. Recently, we've heard it being called the deep state, meaning the people who actually run the government. Elect whomever you will, but we will always be here, even after you go away. Civil service. Can't fire them. But now we have Trump. President Trump is being suggested that Trump has authorized a group of people to drain the swamp. Does that sound reasonable? Does it sound like something he would do? A publication called The Nation is reporting that, quote, the problem with the phrase deep state is that it is used to suggest that dishonorable individuals are subverting the virtuous state for their private ambitions, end of quote. And to combat this problem, according to TheIntercept.com, Blackwater founder Erik Prince and retired CIA officer and intelligence contractor John McGuire are part of a team developing plans for the private spy network. A team that would report to CIA Director Mike Pompeo and the White House. Oliver North, a key player in the Iran-Contra scandal, is also reportedly working on the plan. Prince and McGuire deny working together, even though, quote, current and former U.S. officials and Trump donors, end of quote, say they are. Keep in mind, no one admits anything or that any of this is happening. However, if something like this is approved, CIA Director Mike Pompeo would gain a spy network that would circumvent official U.S. intelligence agencies. An unnamed former intelligence official told The Intercept that proposals are being drawn up because Pompeo cannot trust the CIA bureaucracy. Quote, it is a direct action arm, totally off the books, end of quote, said the official, who reportedly has first-hand knowledge of the plans. The whole point of this network, he said, is to report to the president and Pompeo directly. That means intelligence data would not be shared with others at the CIA or the rest of the U.S. intelligence agencies. Under the plan, an army of spies would operate worldwide in various countries, including North Korea and Iran. Currently, all of these are off-limits areas for U.S. intelligence. According to two former senior intelligence officials, Pompeo likes the plan and wants the White House to adopt it. Do you see what's going on here? I mean, I don't know if any of this is true. It sounds true. But nations have come and gone throughout all of human history. And most of them follow the same trajectory, establishing power, organizing the system, maybe doing some good things, but always giving in to human weakness and failure. It's just called human nature, or probably more specifically, human depravity. Because the Bible says that the heart of man is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked beyond anything anyone can imagine. What would encourage him to abandon that for the high moral ground? Generally, statistically, the majority do not. Nations grow and get strong based on common goals and things pushing at them and then pushing back, and they succeed, but they never survive for very long. They always go the other way, and this is the way they generally go. We've been about 250 years or so, what? It's about as far as we're going to go, maybe. And we now have a president who gets things done. We have a president who makes things happen. And so far his efforts have been to put back what has been pulled apart by this deep state. Our forefathers knew the danger of concentrated power. It's why they devised the system we have. But now that system has been co-opted. When that happens, where do we go? What happens next? We stay tuned. We watch. We pay attention. And we learn. But there are a significant number of us who don't really want to know. I just want to go about my business, leave this alone. Stop it. You're tormenting me. I'm too much information. I don't care. I'm completely sympathetic to that position. Because the reality is there isn't much any one of us can do. We can pray. This is a Bible forum. It's not a political forum. And the point here is that the world is destined, biblically, to come unglued. The United States has always been that country that stood out and said, not here. My message to you this evening is here, that it has been here for some time, and it's only going to get worse. If you watch how we function, we have all kinds of chaos, and then we elect a president that kind of gets us out of it and sends us on a solid footing, and we all feel good about ourselves, and the economy comes back and things happen, and then he goes away, and either the next one or the one after that, we put back in the guy that makes us feel good about ourselves, and he destroys it. And then we elect somebody who is a law and order, 2 and 2 is 4, we got to do this in play, and then it comes back again. How many sloshes like that can we take? And each slosh takes us deeper. We come back, but not as far as we were the last time. And then we go down again. If this article is right, if these men are right, our president and others are putting together a system to try to stop what's going on underneath. Put everything out in the street where it can be seen. That's what America's supposed to be. That's what our system's about. You don't want to know. I think I do. We'll see. I know my God is in charge. I know nothing happens outside the will of God. And I know the end because I've read about it. And it ain't pretty. And there's no mention of America when it talks about the end of the world. Something to think about.